Broadcasting from the CNN Center in Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Carl Azus. Welcome to the show. We hope you enjoyed the Labor Day holiday. If you're just now starting to watch CNN 10, we welcome you and thank you for taking time to hear objective explanations of what's going on in the world. In the South American nation of Brazil, history has been lost. A fire started Sunday evening at the country's National Museum, and though firefighters worked throughout the night to try to stop it, you can see from this video why one museum official says very little will be left. No serious injuries were reported, and authorities don't know yet what caused the fire or how many artifacts were destroyed, but observers expect that most of them were probably burned. This building itself is historic. It used to be the home of a Portuguese royal family. It was converted into a museum 200 years ago, and since then, it collected 20 million artifacts that date back thousands of years. It houses everything from the oldest human remains ever identified as being from Brazil to the largest meteorite ever found in Brazil. The National Museum is known around the world for its priceless collection and its research, but while a Brazilian government official says he wants fire preparedness to be evaluated at every other museum in the country to try to avoid this anywhere else, the nation's president says the loss of artifacts at the National Museum is insurmountable for Brazil. 10-second trivia. Which of these landmarks in Washington, D.C. was completed in 1935? Washington Monument, Supreme Court Building, Lincoln Memorial, or National Portrait Gallery? The building of the nation's highest court was completed in 1935. Before that, the court had no permanent home of its own and met in various other places. Following the Labor Day holiday, as people across America go back to work and school, one task ahead of the U.S. Senate is holding confirmation hearings for Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Those start today. Kavanaugh is a U.S. Court of Appeals judge. He's also President Donald Trump's choice to join the Supreme Court. Judge Kavanaugh would replace Justice Anthony Kennedy, who retired from the High Court earlier this year. Presidents can't directly appoint Supreme Court justices. They have to nominate them. And the Senate gives advice and consent, a phrase from the U.S. Constitution, by holding hearings and then voting on whether it approves the president's choice. Judge Kavanaugh is President Trump's second nominee to the High Court. His first was confirmed in April of last year when Justice Neil Gorsuch completed the process to replace Justice Antonin Scalia, who died the year before. There's been a largely partisan fight over whether Judge Kavanaugh should be confirmed to the High Court. Most Republicans appear to support his nomination. Most Democrats appear to oppose it. And as Jeff Toobin explains, the political divide over presidential Supreme Court nominees is nothing new.
Federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, serve for life. That's why presidents regard these judicial appointments as such an important way to extend their own legacies. The Constitution does not set out a resume that a Supreme Court justice has to have. There's no requirement in the Constitution that a Supreme Court justice even be a lawyer. But traditionally, presidents have nominated impeccably qualified sitting judges. Both presidents and senators like to say that the confirmation process is all about qualifications. But it's really also about politics. Virtually every important issue in American politics and even American life winds up in front of the Supreme Court. And they have the last word. Both the president and the senators trying to figure out how the nominee stands on the hot-button issues that the Supreme Court deals with. And that's why the senators will vote yes or no.
Water fountains have been shut off at all public schools in Detroit, Michigan. The reason? Recent testing from fountains or sinks at 24 schools in the district found that water in 16 of them had unacceptably high levels of copper, lead, or both. These metals can get into drinking water when plumbing pipes that are made from them corrode. And it's significant because high levels of copper and lead can cause a range of health problems. They've been linked to everything from liver and kidney disease to developmental delays and behavioral disorders. There are more than 100 public schools in Detroit. They serve more than 47,000 students. And they still have water to drink. It just comes from bottles and coolers that officials have brought in. Water quality problems have been found at 34 Detroit schools in total, and tests are still being carried out at 50 other schools. Detroit's water department says the school's old plumbing systems are responsible and that the water problems do not extend to other parts of the city. It also says there are no lead pipes that connect the school's plumbing, so what might have caused the high levels of lead and copper, officials haven't said yet. Detroit isn't the only part of Michigan to deal with water problems, though. A long-term crisis in the city of Flint, about an hour's drive northwest of Detroit, involved dangerously high levels of lead. Facing down their challenges, keeping their chin up when things don't look good, reaching out to help others or help inspire them. These are some of the attributes of a positive athlete, and Haley Johnson seems to have all of them. The Wisconsin soccer player is a great addition to our new series on standout young athletes from across America.
Soccer is like the one thing that I love doing. Like, I have a bad day, I want to go play soccer. I'm bored, I want to go play soccer.
Her high school career has been just a roller coaster. I think coming in as a freshman, you don't know what to expect. And I think she had just a phenomenal year.
And then we go into her junior year, text me during it and say, hey, things aren't going like I want to, I can't catch my breath.
I was really struggling. I was finishing last in sprints. It's not normal. I think there's something wrong.
We took her for testing. When the doctor put up the x-ray, she showed us the white mass on the x-ray. The doctor, wanted to slow us down, but that cancer was one of the things that they were trying to rule out at that time.
I was very scared when I heard that word, shocked. Yeah, I did not know what to do.
It was probably one of the longest 5 hours of your life because, it's like you're thinking the worst case scenario. Try not to get emotional.
I've never seen my dad really scared, but you could tell that he was extremely scared. They were worried. They told me that it was benign, so that was the biggest relief.
And then they tell you, hey, it's good news. We can do surgery on this. It's not cancer. And all of a sudden it's like surgery. Hey, it's a great thing.
She had the surgery on Tuesday, came home on Friday. Less than a week after having a tumor and her chest cracked, she's at our practice to support her teammates. That's the kind of kid she is.
I always wanted to be up and doing stuff. So I can walk, right? So why not take a ball with me? So I was just walking around the neighborhood with the ball.
My neighbor came up to me and said, hey, I saw Haley out, jogging around the block, dribbling. And right away, this is just 2 weeks after the surgery, and I know she was driven, and right away I'm like, wait, what?
Literally 6 weeks after the surgery, she was out on the field for us and playing.
Nice stop, you right?
I can remember that first game back, and she actually scored the first goal for her team. She was asked to speak at her elementary school. She took a very difficult situation and tried to give back and help others.
I've learned that you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to it.
She did something that she's just amazing, and I'm just incredibly proud of her, and I can't wait to see everything else that she's going to do with that driven behavior and attitude.
I learned so much working on this show. For instance, in Utah, this is how the Division of Wildlife Resources stocks high mountain lakes with fish. They put them on a plane, fly low over the lakes, and drop them in. More than 200 lakes are stocked this way each year. Officials say at least 95% of the fish survive the drop because they're so small that they fall to the lakes like leaves. They also say this is better than the old-fashioned way of putting fish in metal milk cans and using cars and horses to get to the lakes. I bet the first time this was proposed, it was like bait for skeptics. You can hear someone casting the idea and another giving biting criticism like, yeah, right, when fish fly. But considering the scales of the operation, now that it's in the swim of things, what's not to like? And make sure they're fully stocked, and it stocks up another edition of CNN 10. I'm Carl Azus.